Happy Saturday. That took me a minute. It's been a long week. Holy. Yeah, wow. Happy Saturday. Hey, how's it going, Gio? Nice of you to stop by. Oh, man. So we're going to go over what Bitcoin's doing right now before we get into any details about anything else that we're going to be talking about. I was going to add some money to the portfolio, but literally my onboarding just now, like it was lagging out. So it just now added my funds. So I'm going to have to do that off stream. But I'll make an updated video for next week. That way we can all see where the portfolio is. But currently we have Bitcoin sitting at $35,600 right now, which is pretty good to see. Bitcoin's gone through a bit of a suffering with Elon Musk's recent tweet, and it's been a little bit of an issue. It's good that your Saturday is going good. Yeah, it's a beautiful day out too. Right here, it's around like, I want to say 24 degrees, but it's supposed to get up to like 38 degrees today, Celsius obviously. And oh man, super excited. So with Bitcoin, again, I don't think we have any really mode of concern quite yet until we do see Bitcoin drop below the 32,000. And obviously, we can still see it kind of trading in that almost triangle that we built the last time. It kind of broke out, but if we reshape that triangle, let's see what we get here. So if we reshape, we're still kind of in the pattern. I'd probably bring this up here a little bit to match some of the wicks down here. So we're still kind of trading within this pattern, I guess. You know, obviously we broke out of our previous triangle here, and then we shot back down, and that was a lot to do with what Elon Musk was tweeting about, and you know, his shit posting, and that's a whole nother deal for a whole nother video. But the crypto market cap is at 1.6 trillion dollars right now, so we're still holding pretty well on the crypto market cap. Obviously, you know, it is what it is for the downturn, but we've held a decent amount of value considering everything else with the market. But you see right now there's a lot of interest going on with the DeFi and liquidity pooling and everything else. And that's one big thing that I'm trying to get as many people into as possible, because once you start realizing that you can earn with DeFi protocols and earn an income on your tokens that are doing nothing, you know, it's pretty beneficial. You have a couple of risks there. You have the impermanent loss. So basically, if the price drops from one token to another, you're going to have more of the token that's less valued, just because it's going to keep a one-to-one. But what I like to do is I like to liquidity pool on tokens that I'm bullish on for both projects. So for example, I have Cake and BNB, I have Reef and BNB, I have over on the Polkadot network, I have Zor and Apeswap, Zor and Val. So how's it going, EDU? How are you, buddy? So it's important to understand exactly like how you can earn additional money, you know, while everything is in a dump, right? So it's always important to understand that you have other revenue streams. To look at Cardano, again, is coming down with Bitcoin's recent drop here. I don't know how far Bitcoin's going to drop. I mean, realistically, Bitcoin could drop a little bit further, but I think we'll probably just like trade within here and wind up a little bit more. We still see the same telltale signs that we've been talking about. Volume is still low. You know, there's not really much action in the market other than the up and down, but I think a lot of this is more caused by Elon Musk tweets and everything else and market manipulation. So sorry. Damn straight you're sorry. Absolutely. So I think the sentiment here, though, a lot of people thought we were just going to go up. And I felt that. A lot of people said, you know, this could be the relief. We're going to the 42. We're going to pump above. And, you know, it could happen, but it's probably not going to happen. Why can't I delete that? Okay. Well, it is what it is. Okay. They should lock them up. I think in a lot of ways. So, okay. Hot take on Elon. And actually, so I'm going to be making a video about this a little bit later on this afternoon. Probably upload it later on today. But with Elon Musk, there's a lot of problems. So if you think about what he's trying to tote around with this clean energy and everything else, I'm not sure if you guys have really looked into clean energy. It is far from clean. If you look at some of the solar farms, they're dilapidated, they're not maintained, the mirrors are broken. It's not sustainable in terms of repairs. The financial burden of repairing these mirrors is just super intense, so they just leave the mirrors broken. So that's one area of concern with clean energy. Then you talk about the windmills and everything else with the maintenance and everything on that portion. But when you look at what constitutes as clean or renewable for especially the United States, they've lumped in natural gas to that. And natural gas is not at all what we're talking about clean renewable energy. Realistically, we don't have the infrastructure to put all this in place to go completely renewable. So when you talk about Teslas specifically, a Tesla, you're powering that Tesla by what? You're powering it by the closest nuclear plant, by the closest power plant, and they're using coal, oil, whatever it is. And natural gas plants, all they're using is basically liquefied lumber, right? So it's not sustainable. EV cars are the future. It's absolutely where we're going. But what we're doing right now with our power grid isn't sustainable long term. Yeah, if you're watching, absolutely, like absolutely. Good morning, hodlers. How's it going, Jay Young Man? Yeah, grounded with, see, that's what I see more so. Elon Musk is acting way more of a child than anything else. And that's become a big issue, right? And like, it's not surprising if you know what Elon Musk has done. Like, if you look back at the stock, Elon Musk stock, or the Tesla stock, when it hit 420, it was close to 420. He said, okay, time to take the company private once we hit 420, funding achieved, right? It was clearly a joke, but tweets like that are dangerous in the financial world. So, of course, the SEC stepped in there. I don't know what you say here because you're borderline on the aspect of free speech, and then you're talking about market manipulation. I think right now Elon Musk needs to chill the hell out, get the hell out of blockchain. And honestly, in a lot of ways, like what he's doing for the crypto community is a double standard, right? There's a lot of good points that comes up with like government subsidies and how Tesla actually makes their money. I say this a lot to a friend of mine that, there's a difference between smart and intelligent. Elon Musk is intelligent, but he's not very smart. So, am I planning to pool Matic and on a defense build? Yeah, that's probably the next step. Like right now, I'm probably going to be adding funds to Pancakeswap a little bit, and then next up is putting some money into Matic and defense. I just got to get the bridge over, but ETH gas fees are super cheap. I don't know why ETH gas fees are super cheap. I did a bridge over to Polkaswap, and the gas fee was like $3. So, yeah, I think right now we need people to literally pull back from celebrities and Elon Musk's word, right? People need to really recognize that you can't always take, that word, at face value, right? How's your portfolio and the Sora network looking? So it's looking really good. Going over Apeswap really quick. I'll show you exactly what I have right now. I just added around like $500 in the last couple of days. I think Friday, so yesterday. So I bought more Zor and Val, and I obviously have Zor and Apeswap, but we'll wait for the liquidity pool and I'll show you exactly what I have in my liquidity pools right now. I have actually used the TBC now, the token bonding curve. So for anyone that doesn't know, and I wasn't knowledgeable enough to understand the token bonding curve, but essentially when you buy from the token bonding curve with DOT, KSM, you get double rewards, but with ETH and everything else, you just get Apeswap with the Zor. So essentially what you're doing is you're putting money into the token bonding curve, you're minting new Zor. So you're not buying it off of an exchange or anything, you're minting brand new Zor. And this helps maintain the stability of the Zor price. So it's more stable going up and down, right? Over time, it's supposed to be a more stable flow. So it can still go up and it still can still go down, but it might go at a lesser rate. We'll talk about Vechain and ADA in a minute, but I'll go through here. So right now I'm at 1.18 ZOR and 163 Val posted in this stake pool. And then the majority of everything else, 6.25 ZOR and 9,200 Apeswap. So that's a total of 239 LP tokens. And then I'm obviously earning the fee, but right now we don't see the actual, the actual rewards coming through. So once we have the rewards, I'll see exactly what I've earned from the stake pools, but I believe it's like around 230% APY. So I'll go into Vechain and then I'll cover Cardano. So Vechain is something that I am super excited to see even at this price, especially from where it came from. Now I started buying Vechain at around maybe 1 cent to 3 cents, so around this zone. Obviously when it pumped here, that was an incredible pump. I didn't even expect it to go this high, to be perfectly honest with you. And it's held a good amount of support considering everything, like considering the dump and everything else, it's held a lot of support. But does that mean like Vechain can't go much higher than what it is right now? I personally believe in $1 Vechain. I think it's well within the realm of possibilities. You look at the project, the use case and everything else. I truly see it as a supply chain solution similar to like Amazon Web Services, and we see what kind of a giant that is. I think a lot of industries are going to hop on the Vechain platform, mainly because it's already fleshed out and it's an easy way to track a product from the beginning to the end. Yeah, I know the Matic DeFi pools are 400% APY. Maybe that's what I do instead of going into Cakeswap. Maybe I do that because okay. So to give you guys an idea, I have my Cell token. So I talked about the loans that I take with Celsius. And now I have my Cell token that's coming off lock on the 3rd, so July 3rd. So I'm going to unlock that Cell token. I'm going to relock it up. So I'm going to take another loan on that. And I'm going to take that loan and throw it all into DeFi. So maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I just go relock my Cell, throw it into Matic, and go from there. And we can kind of do update videos on how much it's earned throughout the time. So I think that's probably a good idea. With Cardano, we've held a good amount of our support, right? So there's a lot of things coming with Cardano. The Alonzo testnet is out. So we're at least making strides to move to Alonzo and having smart contracts. When we have smart contracts, obviously things like Sunday swap is going to be a big deal. I'm going to be staking my Cardano for Sunday on the stake pool. That way, as soon as it's out, I already have Sunday going in, so I don't have to buy new Sunday. And then on top of that, I can buy new Sunday. And then at that point, once the Sunday swap DEX is out, I'll decide, okay, does my ADA go back to earn more Cardano? Does it earn more Sunday? What's the deal there? But, as long as Cardano is holding above the $1.50, I'm a happy boy in all reality with Cardano. But yeah, I think the total on my Apeswap, I'm not sure what the total is. If I looked at it, I'd probably have to estimate maybe around 7,000 USD, but I'd have to actually look. Because my Blockfolio is obviously off, right? Because the impermanent loss, my ZOR and my Apeswap is always changing. But I'd probably say it's roughly around like between 5 to 6K at this point. But the gas fee was a lot cheaper going in this time. The gas fee costed me $3 to bridge in. So, did they? ISO update, June 1st. So as promised, we're starting to publish a white paper. We'll work in detail. Second, okay, yeah. I think they're talking about the exact timing. I'm not sure if it's indefinite, but I'd have to look. If you have a link to something else that I should be seeing, then that would be great. Am I only mining Apeswap? So yeah, so you are getting your Apeswap rewards from here. If you know how to mine anything else, I absolutely want to. But I'm in 2 liquidity pools for ZOR and Val and ZOR and Apeswap. Obviously, the ZOR and Apeswap is a bigger pool, but so if you wanted to earn Apeswap, what I would do, I'm more bullish on the Apeswap. Well, I mean, I'm bullish on all Apeswap, ZOR, and Val. But what you can do is you can just provide Apeswap and Zor and start from there. Right now, you can only claim your fees. You can't actually claim your 230% APY. That functionality is coming later. All your tokens are being accounted for, however, so there's no worries there. But if you go through the Sora app and submit your RPC call, you can see how much you make from the fees themselves. But this is like the 3% trading fee. This isn't representative of your actual rewards. On top of that, when you buy from the token bonding curve, you can also check your rewards by going to this area here and multiple, yeah, there we go, and account rewards. And you can see what you earned from the token bonding curve. So obviously I've earned 284 Apeswap from the latest buy. So I bought ETH, and I ended up earning free Apeswap. The whole thing is all this is going to reduce over time, right? So the earlier you get into this, the better it is for you. And that's the one thing that I learned with Uniswap, right? I kicked myself because I use MetaMask all the time now. But I kicked myself because I didn't use MetaMask. I didn't get the free airdrop of Uniswap tokens. What I learned from that experience is sometimes you just have to take a risk and go into something and be one of the first people into the system, because that's going to net you a huge yield. So especially if you're front running a lot of people. Yeah, no worries, man. It's definitely a good idea to get into things like this. Obviously, go in with a bit of a risk, right? Like anything could happen. But realistically, doing something like this, it's not really that risky as long as you're bullish on the tokens that you're providing as liquidity. Yeah, so I earn, yeah, so if you swap, okay, so if you're on here, if you have DOT and KSM, you're going to get double the Apeswap. So if you go here and choose, let's say I choose DOT, for example. So Polkadot, I don't have any Polkadot in my wallet, so I can't show you a complete transaction, but that's okay. You select Polkadot and Zor, and then you just wait for this to load. A little gear is going to come up to the top. Oh, never mind. So I don't have the trading pair. So we'll go ETH, because that's what I did last night. That's what I know at least works. Maybe I was using the wrong token too, so it could actually be that I was on the wrong pair. But when you select ETH and Zor, you wait for this little cogwheel to come up. You click on this cogwheel and you go TBC, the token bonding curve. You click the X. So now you switch to the TBC. So now say I put 1 ETH in. Is it going to let me just put 1 ETH? Yeah, there we go. So if I put 1 ETH, so if I buy 1 ETH worth, so that's 2.8 Zor, I'm getting 1,700 Apeswap. Now I can't redeem this quite yet, but you're just getting that for making the transaction, right? And then once you are able to redeem that, that's Apeswap in your portfolio. So this is accounted for. It's your Apeswap. So anytime that you buy new Zor, I would totally advise you to go with the TBC first. Buy the Zor, get the strategic rewards. Of course, you're minting more Zor into the system, but you're making the system stronger by doing so. And you're also allowing them to do a lot of things. So you saw me on Tinder? Yeah, did I look really, really hot? I wonder if it'd be funny if you did, because at that point somebody's taking my identity, man. But it's good to understand exactly how you can earn extra rewards, right? And DEXs are going to be a great way for you to earn on your crypto. So like you might see, okay, so you have like what, 8% on Celsius and everything else. When you're talking about 8% on Celsius, what does 8% have on something like a 200%, right? So if I go over to my Pancakeswap really quick, and this is why I'm bullish on a lot of DEXs, right? I go on the BSC. I didn't use Uniswap a lot. I want to get into Matic a little bit more, so I'm going to be using Matic in the DeFi system. But even with here, right? So I'm earning, like on some of my farms, I'm earning 60% on my Cake and BNB pair. I'm earning roughly 70% on Reef and BNB. On top of that, all my Cake, I restake into pools. So here you can see that it's lower. If you've been seeing these live streams and seeing my Cake, you can see it's lower because I bought more BNB, unstaked the Cake, and re-put it in. So all my earnings are going back into Cake. So what I actually plan on doing So I'm going to sell some earnings, cause a taxable event for myself. I'm going to sell $1,000 worth of cake, unlock my sell token, relock it up, take a $1,700 loan, and go throw it into Matic. I think that's the overall plan. It's a good way to leverage your crypto and keep building up your bags, especially if you don't have a lot to put in. You know, I work a 9-to-5 job like everyone else, so I'm just putting money into the system when I can. Of course, I got in early. I got in 2020, so I was kind of lucky in that regard. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it's always good to earn on whatever crypto you have. If you have crypto, it is a good chance that you can earn on it, right? And if that's like Cardano, you're on the Daedalus wallet, Polkadot, you're staking. You can either stake it within this network, going onto the Polkadot network, or you can stake it very easily on Kraken for 12% APY. So, I think it is depending on the situation. So is taking profits even worth it in the short term? Again, I would say it depends on your situation. If like there's something like an event that you need money, sure, maybe. And it also depends on the project. But I wouldn't be selling anything at this level. Again, like we've talked about where I think the market cycle is going to go. I don't think we're done and we're over. If anyone hasn't watched that video, I did a video recently talking about why this market cycle isn't over and why this isn't the peak. So right now is not the time that I would be selling. Right now I'm actually accumulating. I am DCAing Bitcoin and Ethereum as we speak. I might stop Ethereum once Ethereum hits 3K because good Lord, that's a big price on Ethereum. But I'm probably just going to add the Ethereum that I bought to my stake pool and just earn on that. So I'm going to lock it up. What platform am I using for lending? I'm actually using Celsius. So right now, Celsius is giving out a... Okay, so if you use my promo code in the description, they'll give you $40 to sign up if you deposit $400 worth of cryptocurrency. And then I get $40 too, so it's a good way to support the channel. And if you take a loan out and use their promo code right now, you'd have to go onto their website to find it. I can find it for you and post it maybe in the comments below. I'm going to be making a video later on, like on Monday, I'll put it out, discussing the loan that I'm taking. So I'm going to go through the steps again that I've discussed before. But you'll get a $25 bonus if you take a $500 loan. You'll get a $50 bonus if you take a $5,000 loan. And you'll get a $100 bonus if you take a 10K loan. I'm just taking a $1,700 loan, so I'm going to make $25 on top of the loan. So that's going to basically cover my 1% interest because I'm going to lock it up at a 1-to-4 ratio. So I'm going to put 4 times the collateral of the actual loan. I'm not going to be earning on that loan, or I'm not going to be earning on that collateral. So that's roughly like $150 just spitballing in lost earnings in the sell token. But looking at that, so looking at the 5% that I'm losing in the interest, I take that 1,700, put it in Matic, earn 400%. Well, that's a huge amount, right? It's blowing the loan out the water, pay back the loan, re-lock it up again once the sell token's appreciated, rinse and repeat. And that's what I do with my Bitcoin and my sell token. And it's a good way for me to add on to my bags on top of it. So I like Celsius too because they're very rare to actually liquidate you. If you get down to your margin call, they're going to work with you to try to get you to add more collateral or refinance the loan, whatever it's going to take to not liquidate you. But obviously, the risk is there. But as long as you're doing a 1-to-4 loan, like I did a 1-to-4 loan with Bitcoin. And I did that around, I want to say like 48, 52K around there. And then it dropped. But my liquidation price isn't until 17,000. My margin call isn't until 20,000. I have so much room before I even get margin called for Bitcoin and to add Bitcoin. You know, essentially once that happens, or if that happens, I just add Bitcoin to the wallet and all is good. So, have I used Aave? I haven't used Aave. I've seen Aave. The only reason I don't use Aave is just because they're what am I trying to say? It's just because the interest rates aren't that high, and it seems like it's become more of a whale platform is what I'm hearing. Now, that being said, I think Aave is incredibly easy to use, and it's super user-friendly. So for that, I would buy the Aave token, but I probably wouldn't use the platform, right? I personally can make a better APY on other platforms, but I understand that people that don't want to learn and want to use Aave because, hey, like an 8% APY hey, like the low interest loans, like why the hell not, right? So it's an easy platform for people to use. I might get into it just for the the loan structure, because that is more enticing to me. But other than that, I find Aave is just a good investment in terms of the token. I think it's going to go places, but I don't particularly use it. Yeah, you just have to wait the 30 days for the lockup. That's right. So you have to deposit the money and you have to leave it in there for 30 days. But realistically, most people are hodlers. And if you look at the sell token, this is a video that's going to be coming out later on this week. And I discussed it before. So, and I'm on the weekly, that's why. So when you look at the sell token, right, the sell token has consistently been a good asset for a lot of people since it's gone up, right? It's dipped to some pretty low levels, like $5, but it's held a good amount even amidst the Bitcoin dump, right? Like if you look at that price, and the reason why this is because the people that earn sell, right? So if I earn interest in sell, so say I have Bitcoin in Celsius and I'm earning that in sell token to get higher APY. At that point, the new sell token that I earn is bought off the open market and it's sent to my wallet. Well, what happens in my wallet? Nothing. Nothing happens. What happens in 90% of Celsians wallets? Nothing. Everyone's a hodler, right? It's a community of hodlers, and we're earning this token, and it's going to hodlers. So what do you think is going to happen to the token over time? It's going to have less selling pressure and more buying pressure. It's a great exchange token. It's a brilliant business idea. I love the benefits that you get from the sell token. You get lower interest rates. You get higher rewards. It's just overall a good investment. So I've been a huge bull for the sell token. It's done very, very well. How's it going, Dej? You haven't missed much. We've just been talking about earning on your crypto and everything else and how you should be earning on whatever crypto you have. I can guarantee you on almost every crypto you have, there is a way to earn on that crypto. Whether that is lending it out as a peer-to-peer lender, whether that is putting it up as liquidity in stake pools and everything else. And if you think about where we're going in the future, right, peer-to-peer lending and everything else, what Cardano's trying to do, and again, Cardano's just going to open up a huge amount of social capital, especially in Africa and all the other countries that lack financial services that traditionally we see more in like the UK, Japan, the United States, Canada, obviously. So I think it's going to unlock a huge amount of social capital, the incredible amount of people being able to take small micro loans to buy tractors for their farm, buy livestock to sell, whatever it is, right? And often these are all settled on the blockchain, so it's a pretty safe way to do that. So I'm a huge bull for anything that's going to unlock social capital, ADA, anything like that. Peer-to-peer lending is probably going to be the future. I'm not aware of algo trading. I'm aware of algo, but I don't know much about algo trading. How's it going, Ray? The sell token thing. It's the only thing. So, yeah, I think in terms of the sell token, because it could be considered, some people would say, okay, well, the sell token is a security. And it almost is. It almost is kind of like a security token. But that's why they don't sell to the United States people, right? They're trying to work with legislators to get it so U.S. investors can invest in it. But right now you have to be an accredited investor to actually buy the sell token. So you can't just buy the sell token for regular people. But at the end of the day, the sell token is hugely bullish in the long term. Hey, Rye, thanks. I appreciate that, man. Coffee money. Awesome. Thank you for the sticker, buddy. Much appreciated, man. Again, much appreciated with all your support. If you guys don't know, Hi Rye, he does great like stocks analysis and everything else. So anyone here from my channel, definitely go check out Hi Rye. He does a lot of the stock analysis. He also talks a lot about crypto. He loves Ethereum. He loves Ethereum. So for you guys that love Ethereum, go ahead and check him out. But I appreciate that, man. You've been a huge support for the channel. I really, really appreciate it. Found LP on QuickSwap. Wow, 140,000% APY. That is insane. Yeah, I think the volatility, right? That's nuts. I wonder how long that's gonna last. It'll probably settle at around $1,000, right? So But again, the big thing that I use my Cell token for, so since I got my Cell token, to give you a history of my Cell token actually, since I got Cell token, it was, let's see here, CoinGecko. So since I got Cell token, when I first bought Cell token, I think I put like $200 in when it was like, I want to say 62 cents. Then I took a loan on my Bitcoin, $500 loan, and bought Cell token at $1. And obviously we saw where that went. So since that point, I've been using that money that I earned from that first loan, that $500 and that $200 that I put into Cell, to reinvest, buy more Cell, to re-lock up and re-loan and add more money to my system. And I haven't had any problems paying back the loans. They're relatively small, within like, you know, between $1,000 to $2,000 right now is my highest loan. I probably won't go more than that. It's nice to leverage a little bit of my crypto. That way I can still make an earning, and if I'm low on money, I don't have to stress. I can just drop a decent amount, especially if I'm going in and taking a $1,700 loan that I'm going to do now. At that point, I can go throw all of that in Matic and get like a 400% APY, right? So if you look at that, if you tack on the length of a loan, which is 6 months, that's 200% right there. So that's paying back the loan and then some. I think so. I totally understand the staying away from unrealistic APYs, and that's good to be cautious. But some of the APYs are actually pretty realistic on decentralized exchanges. If they're pretty high APYs, what you're looking at is more volatility. That's when you should be a little bit scared on holding the tokens that you are putting up as liquidity. But still, like I have like 60% in Pancake and everything else. But if you look at the yield that I actually get from my loans, the yield is way more than what I'm doing on DeFi and everything else. I make way more by leveraging my Bitcoin and leveraging my Cell token, taking a loan and investing that somewhere else. So far, that's been a huge driver percentage. I've almost doubled every single loan that I've taken. So, yeah, I think, but I think there's a lot of deadlines missing, right? So it would be easy to love Ethereum if they actually met a deadline, and I agree with that. But we have like Cardano doing the same thing. We have Polkadot parachains got delayed for a little bit. There's a lot of the same kind of delays in the system. So I know it's rough and it's difficult to have, but once we actually have ETH 3.0, or ETH 2.0, I think it's going to boom. But yeah, I can understand how it's annoying not having a clear cut, like when is this actually going to happen? And with a lot of projects, they've been delaying like everything. Same with SundaySwap, right? So even Polkaswap had its fair share of delays. Still does, because it's still on a soft launch. It's not actually on like a full-on launch. Anytime that you're looking at liquidity pools. So this is, I love shilling Pancakeswap, mainly because it's such a user-friendly DEX to first like start dipping your toes into. And I'm bullish on the BSC. It's a safe place to be. There are still rug pulls, so you got to be careful of the tokens that you're putting in. But say you're really bullish on a certain token. Let's say, what's a good token here that we can pick out? You know what? There is a good one. So here, earn PMON. I'm not sure if any of you guys know what PMON is. It's like it's an NFT, like gaming and like Pokemon for Polkadot kind of thing. If you're bullish on something like this, what you could do is you could stake your cake. You could put cake in here and just earn 69% in PMON rewards. So what's happening essentially is your cake is going into a pool and either being traded with or generating new cake. One of the two. I don't know exactly what the cake tokenomics are behind the stake pools. But with the farming, what you're doing is you're adding to a liquidity pool. So if you go farming and then PMON, so here you see a 224% APY. And you might ask, well, why is it so much? No, number one, it's a BUSD pair, so I probably wouldn't be in this liquidity pool anyway, because I don't like liquidity pooling with the United States dollar. I like crypto-to-crypto liquidity pools. But if you do something like that, you get a 224% APY. Now, why is that? Because you're actually getting the money from the trades that are happening, right? So that's all the revenue that's generated from the trades, and that's calculated in real time and displayed on the DEX. So anything that you see is all variable. It can all move up and down and everything else. But obviously, for that, that's how you get your percentages. So, yeah. Hey, what's going on, Andrew? Thanks for the 10, buddy. I really appreciate it. Have we talked about Banana yet today? We've talked about some DeFi. The one DeFi that I'm going into, and there's been a bit of a change of plans there, Andrew, because I know I talked to you a little while ago about doing... Where is my Apeswap? Huh. Let's see here. I know I said that I'm going into Apeswap. I think I might end up throwing everything into Matic. I think that's probably going to be a good idea. I'm probably going to enter Apeswap later, but Apeswap, it's the same deal with Pancake. If you look at Apeswap, it's probably good to relate it more so to like SushiSwap in comparison to Ethereum. So if you can get on here, there's obviously more APYs because the volatility and the volumes are lower. There's less people trading, so the APYs are going to be greater. So if you want to dip your toes in Pancakeswap, you can obviously come over to Apeswap as well. It runs on the BSC, so it still works with your MetaMask exactly the same way. So, if you're new to DeFi, I would absolutely tell you to dip your toes in and get in here, or get into the DeFi with Matic, or get into Polkaswap, right? Just get involved. That's my biggest advice here: is get involved with DeFi. Start earning on your crypto. There's a lot of ways to earn, and there's a lot of ways to increase, especially if you can't DCA all the time. Like I said, I've given a lot of examples for how I leverage my crypto, right? Adam has missed like their updates multiple times in terms of a lot of things. In terms of like Alonzo and everything else, we're behind on the Kogan era. So it is to be expected. There's so many issues within the system. Sunday swap delayed as well. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are concerned whether or not it's a legit or a scam. But to go through Sunday swap really quick, they now have the team page. So they have made their identities known. Now, I will also say that they actually sat down with Charles Hoskinson and had a meeting with Charles. I don't know what that meeting, what they talked about. They didn't want to say in their AMA. But I can only assume that Charles is in some way approving of the project. Maybe not. Who knows? Who cares? At the end of the day, one man doesn't rule a cryptocurrency. It's the same discussion that we talk about with Elon Musk and all this like stuff with Bitcoin and everything else. Elon Musk doesn't rule crypto. Same with Charles. He doesn't rule Cardano. Cardano is developed by the system. It's an open source network. With EIP, so what is that? ELP 1559. Can you explain what that is? I'm not sure exactly what that is. Yeah, get more and more into Matic. I think it's a great place to be, but Sunday, Charlie are really sketchy. Sorry, who? Oh, is that the handle? I don't know the handle compared to the name. I'd have to look and see which one is Charlie 3, but I'll do some digging on the team a little bit more and see what I come up with. Yeah. There is always the risk, and it's always good to be skeptical. I'm never going to tell somebody not to be a little bit skeptical, especially when you're not quite sure of something. Let it play out, right? Maybe it's something that you don't hop into right away, that you're not totally confident with, and that's fine. Sometimes you have to trust your gut because that's probably going to be your best judge. So EIP fixes a lot with ETH problems. So I think the question is that going to destroy layer 2 and Matic specifically? It could, or it could at least dip the price a little bit, but I don't know if it's going to like destroy it. But that's interesting. I'll look into it, but maybe that's a good idea to maybe just get involved with Uniswap at that point, because at that point fees will be low, so I can start using Uniswap again. Going to be delayed further. Yeah, I could totally see something like that happening for sure. Supposed to release in July. I find, okay, so I don't know about you guys, right? A lot of people have been like a little upset with crypto dumping and everything else and getting into this zone and dropping from here. I was happy, right? Because we have so many projects that aren't really done yet. And now we have more time to have completed projects before the bull run happens, which could mean that we actually pump a lot more, which is kind of what I'm hoping here. I'm kind of hoping that the bullish narrative around the systems and everything kind of helps, drive more money into the system, and we get a higher rise. So it could drive a higher peak, right? Like, we don't want Cardano to pump before Alonzo's out, right? And then we go into a bear market while Alonzo comes out. Sure, maybe it would still help the Cardano price, probably wouldn't drop as much, but still, I'd rather ride the pump on the updates rather than just ride the pump and then have the updates later and then ride it on a different time. So I think that's probably good advice, Sodium, is not dumping all your Cardano into the stake pool and just like taking a bit of a risk. Yeah. Yeah, that's a big thing too. We were talking about that with market manipulation and everything else going down. So a lot of that is just manipulation straight up. There's no way around it. And yeah, it is a good point, because back in the same period, I think we went through a similar lull, right? Yeah, so back like August, I guess, but not really. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a sales season. Like right now, I hadn't dollar cost averaged Bitcoin. Oh man, I probably didn't dollar cost average Bitcoin like since like down in this range. I think this is like the last time I bought Bitcoin until we got here. Once we got here, I started buying again. Just a little bit every day, buying Bitcoin and Ethereum and not thinking about it. I also buy a little bit of XRP every day, and then after that, I just, every time I get paid, I divvy it up into different projects and go from different areas, decide where I'm going to put that money, and go from there. Yeah, I gotta watch that. He discusses Polygon specifically. I'm interested in understanding exactly what he said, because what he did say, one big thing that he said is that ETH 2.0 isn't really a concern, or isn't really a concern for layer 2, right? So it's not going to dump layer 2. Layer 2 is integral to Ethereum, but I'd be interested to see what he says now, because I don't know if he's saying the same message. So definitely interesting. But I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. Now I'm going to be putting out a video later on today. I wanna show this on stream though, because we were talking about Elon Musk earlier. Now I'm gonna be recording something. We're gonna be talking about it a little bit later today. But I have this lovely video of Anonymous shooting at Elon Musk. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about some of my thoughts on it, because they got a lot of things right, and then some of it just seemed like pouting stuff. So I don't know who exactly made the video. That's the best part about Anonymous. But let's go ahead and turn this on really quick. Hopefully you guys can hear that okay.
Greetings, citizens of the world. This is a message from Anonymous, for Elon Musk. For the past several years you have enjoyed one of the most favorable reputations of anyone in the billionaire class, because you have tapped into the desire that many of us have to live in a world with electric cars and space exploration, but recently your carefully created public image is being exposed, and people are beginning to see you as nothing more than another narcissistic rich dude who is desperate for attention. It appears that your quest to save the world is more rooted in a superiority and savior complex than it is in actual concern for humanity. This has been obvious to your employees for a long time, who have faced intolerable conditions under your command for years. It is also obvious to the young children working in your overseas lithium mines, which are destroying the local environment as well. You have been open about your willingness to stage coups in order to install dictators in places where your toxic products are being mined. You have even prematurely crowned yourself Emperor of Mars, a place where you will be sending people to die. Your fanboys overlook these issues because they are focused on the potential good that your projects can bring to the world, but you are not the only show in town, and your competition is growing more intense with each passing day. There are plenty of other companies working on space exploration and electric vehicles. You are just the only CEO who has gained a cult following through shitposting and trolling the world on social media. In fact, many people are now learning that the vast majority of Tesla's income doesn't actually come from selling cars, it comes from government subsidies, selling carbon tax credits for your innovation with clean energy. This technically isn't your innovation though, because you aren't actually the founder of Tesla, you simply purchased the company from two people much more intelligent than you are, Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. Tesla has also made more money holding Bitcoin for a few months than they did in years of selling cars. It is also more than likely that this Bitcoin was purchased with money from these government subsidies. It is now widely believed that you have been forced to denounce your company's involvement with Bitcoin in order to keep that green government money flowing into Tesla's coffers. The energy use argument about proof-of-work mining is a very nuanced conversation that requires a fairly complex understanding of how power grids work, and how excess energy is wasted by power companies, and sought out by crypto miners. This is a conversation that you have been having for over a year and were intimately aware of, but as soon as your main source of income was threatened you pretended to be clueless in an attempt to play both sides of the fence. Then, your move to create a Bitcoin miner council was rightly seen as an attempt to centralize the industry and take it under your control. Reading from the comments on your Twitter posts, it seems that the games you have played with the crypto markets have destroyed lives. Millions of retail investors were really counting on their crypto gains to improve their lives. This is something that you will never understand because you were born into the stolen wealth of a South African apartheid emerald mine and have no clue what struggle is like for most of the working people in the world. Of course, they took the risk upon themselves when they invested, and everyone knows to be prepared for volatility in crypto, but your tweets this week show a clear disregard for the average working person. As hard-working people have their dreams liquidated over your public temper tantrums, you continue to mock them with memes from one of your million-dollar mansions. You may think you are the smartest person in the room, but now you have met your match. We are anonymous. We are legion. Expect us.
Okay, so obviously, I thought this was enjoyable. To recap a lot of things that were discussed. So where did Elon Musk come from, right? Well, what is his claim to fame? His claim to fame is PayPal, this money system that arguably he didn't really create, but he was a co-founder of with Peter Thiel and the whole PayPal mafia. If you don't know what PayPal mafia is, it's all the people that got money out of PayPal, went off to reinvest and earn on different projects and everything. So he had a lot of money from PayPal and then branched into Tesla, then branched into SpaceX. Now, is Elon Musk a rocket scientist? Is Elon Musk a car designer? Is Elon Musk, any of these things? He's an intelligent person, possibly an engineer in some aspects. But at the same time, it's not Elon Musk behind these rockets, behind these incredible technologies that are going to the moon. It's him funding it. He's, bringing the money to the table. But he has a lot of money. So it's not so much that Elon Musk is a great scientist or something like that, super intelligent and creating these revolutionary products. He's an amazing entrepreneur and incredibly intelligent. He's a smart guy. I'm not going to deny that. But at the same time, he's a child with a lot of his activities and everything else. Now, there's a couple of good points that were touched on, and I'm going to break a video down because I have notes written about this. In terms of the energy consumption of Bitcoin, we talked about that, right? If oil fields are having additional oil burning off into nothing, why can't we mine Bitcoin through those oil fields? Obviously, we would like to eventually be off fossil fuel. That's the end-all, be-all, right? But we realistically can't do that with the technology that we have. Our biggest issue right now is actually storage. And if you look at how we're gathering batteries, that's doing a lot of damage to other communities overseas and everything else. It's not a net positive for the actual Earth ecosystem. But the money generated from Tesla is not from car sales, it's not from anything else, it's from government subsidies. Even Bitcoin, their Bitcoin investment was more than what Tesla had made in a certain period of time. I can't remember the exact period of time. So it's very weird to see the cult-like following with Elon Musk and a lot of people really tagging onto him. I think the biggest thing that you need to take from this video is maybe that not Elon Musk is the problem, where of course he is a problem, but maybe it's the sentiment in the investors. It's the fact that investors will get the whiff of Elon Musk shitposts and all of a sudden they'll buy or sell based on that. Everyone's got to get over this complex that Elon Musk is this great deity that they should be following to the ends of the earth, and including Mars. By all means, man, if I have the choice to go to Mars, I'm going to Mars, right? I will die on Mars. It's better than dying on Earth, in my opinion. I would rather be one of those people that die on Mars. But that being said, Elon Musk himself isn't taking people there. It's the incredible amount of engineers working on SpaceX that are doing these things. And there's a lot of other companies doing the exact same things in terms of space exploration. And also EV, right? Like one of my favorite companies, and if you want to invest in an EV stock, Volvo, oh my God, the Volvo stock is amazing. But the Volvo EV cars, they're fantastic, right? They're really good vehicles. Chain technology. It's controlled by one man. That's to say, like Charles Hoskinson would have complete control over Cardano. We wouldn't want that. We wouldn't want any one person to have complete control over anything. And then this whole Bitcoin Council seemed just another way to maintain government subsidies, to get more money from the taxpayers to build Tesla vehicles that really aren't as efficient as they say. So it's a dangling act right now. But I think people are, I think it's a total cherry pick, right? Because like I'm totally for green energy. I want to make that clear, totally for it. But if you look at the greenest energy that we can have, it's most likely nuclear, and it's most likely a thorium-based nuclear solution. The only reason we're not on thorium energy is mainly because it would require us to convert every single nuclear reactor to a salt nuclear reactor. We played with this technology back in the 40s when we were trying to make big bombers that ran on nuclear engines. And obviously the salt reactors were way too heavy, so they nixed the idea. But it's much safer than going with uranium, much less waste, and it's the same energy providing. I think nuclear is the obvious solution in terms of the waste regards. It's not polluting the system and everything else. There's ways to dispose of it in a good way. Eventually, hopefully, we can just launch it into space and send it to the sun. But at the same time, when you look at like what we have right now, the solar panels aren't enough to fill the grid. We would definitely need to have auxiliary power plants on top of solar and wind. We would absolutely need more power storage, so more battery functions. Yeah, nuclear is extremely efficient. It's clean. There's a lot of FUD about nuclear, though. Everyone's like concerned about the waste. If you look at the nuclear waste that we've generated, I think it's approximately like 14 football fields worth. And we can dig that down to the ground. So the reason why I'm not against solar panels, but I'm against the technology currently because it's not sustainable. If you look at a lot of the solar farms, often they're not maintained. The panels break. They need to be changed out pretty often. So I think we just need to develop that technology better. Like that's where we need to focus R&D. That's where we need to go. But the reality is we can't move our grid right now as the technology stands fully onto solar and wind. We need to have an auxiliary power. And if we're doing an auxiliary power of nuclear, we're not putting out emissions into the atmosphere. It's more cost effective than coal. It's more cost effective than oil. It's to me sounds like the obvious option. There's a lot of discuss. I'd probably go down the rabbit hole of like what thorium does. But if you look at like Alex Mashinsky, so he's the CEO of Celsius, and I've known about thorium after watching like a TED Talk like 10 years ago, and then watching a bunch of seminars about it. But he said the exact same thing, that we should be moving to thorium reactors because that's going to be the most efficient nuclear solution. So. Yeah, hydro is great too. Anything that uses the natural energy, hydro, if we can get geothermal, like what Greenland does. I know like geothermal is not always applicable, but like I think California could do geothermal because they're on a fault line. Like stuff like that. You can obviously, go through. Giovanni, there's a documentary, and I'd recommend everyone to watch this, a documentary that Michael Moore produced with a partner of his, talking all about that, and I don't like playing up some of the anti-green talking points, but some of them are legitimate, right? If you look at the solar farms now, it's a huge waste of money. It's been a massive waste of money. The actual technology needs to get way better, and we need to understand exactly how to store energy. Those are the two main bottlenecks that we have right now to move over to renewables. But what we're calling renewables is natural gas, which is basically being created by chopping down trees. So that, sir, is not renewable. So we should not be on natural gas at all. I'd rather be on oil. Moral of the story, though, don't take Elon's word for it. Have your own mind. Don't follow just a guy as a deity. But I think a lot of you guys know that. I think there's a lot of that, like people waking up to that idea now. Yep. Yeah, I don't know much about Quebec's power grid. I know, like, at least for us in Ontario, we have the Bruce power plant up in here. And I can't remember exactly what else. I'm pretty sure we have some coal plants. But I know the bulk of our hydro comes from the Bruce power plant and Niagara Falls. Green energy is absolutely fine, exactly, but it's in bad faith, exactly, because right now the government subsidies are basically nothing, right? It's free money, not actually going into benefiting good R&D for actual renewable energy, right? Tesla getting all this subsidies, but they're still mining in areas that are destroying the communities for lithium. And like, if you look at lithium, so here's the next step, all right? Here's where we're going. The solution is to stop on Earth. The solution is to stop taking resources from the Earth and find it other places, right? Where are we going to find this resource? We're going to find it on the moon. On the moon, there's tons of lithium, tons of battery material. All we have to do is mine on the moon. The Chinese have already started this process in putting rovers on that have the distinct idea that we're going to site out areas to mine because how rich the moon is. And the reason why it's that rich is because it has no atmosphere, so it's not being protected at all by the sun's rays, so it's able to charge and create the material that is used in batteries, to what I understand. So mining in space is the next thing. That's next up. If we get like mining stocks in space, invest, because holy crap, that's where the money's going to be. If you think about how much metal has dropped onto the moon and asteroids over billions and billions of years, there's tons and tons of materials down there. And if we can start mining out in space rather than mining on our own planet, we might be okay. But I agree with a lot of people saying that we need to be focusing more efforts on making the Earth habitable rather than making Mars habitable. But at the end of the day, we're also going to go through cycles and where the Earth is around the sun and where we are. We're eventually going to go through our sun death of the star, and we're all going to be eviscerated, or evaporated, I guess is probably the better word, not eviscerated. But you get my drift. We're all headed to an eventual end. But the next logical step from this point is space mining. That's what's going to happen. It's obvious too, where you see like there's this huge race for governments and businesses to get into space. So, and the also big idea there is I don't know which laws govern anything, right? Like we have some space treaties amongst a good couple of countries, but it doesn't mean shit when there are some countries that'll just be like, no, I'm gonna do what I want. So, but it's definitely the next logical step. Crypto market cap is currently at $1.7 trillion. You can see, wow, a lot of volume went from Tether here. I'm not quite sure what this spike was about, but buying into something. Well, we see Bitcoin dipping a little bit. It's dipped down $400 since we turned on the stream. Ethereum's still pretty level at $2,600. So there's not all that much movement that's out of the ordinary for the market cap because of where Bitcoin is. That's it, man. Okay, so AMC, like, I get it. I totally get it. I'm all for the revolution against the hedge funds. AMC, I'm not bullish on, right? Like, I'm not bullish on the company. But like, hey, stick it to the hedge funds, guys. If you guys want to protest by buying AMC, I'm 100% on your back. But I'm not rushing out to buy AMC right now. Yeah, so anything like the ICP. What's that? Who bought ICP? Is that Coinbase? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know what ICP is. But I guess talking about that, like I kind of feel bad for anyone that did buy Coinbase right at the IPO, right? They timed that perfectly. If you look at where Coinbase IPO'd, they IPO'd right around this zone here. Oh, beautiful, because now their stock is super down. I put $1 million in a stock simulator and threw it into Coinbase as soon as the IPO came up, because I'm interested to see how far down it goes. And I think I'm down like 300K on that. On that. Oh, ICP, Internet Computer. Yes. I've heard a lot about it. I need to do a little bit more research about it, but I hear it's really good. And the fact that it's a top 10 crypto on launch, that's incredible. The team, or I think the development behind it has like a lot of big heavy hitters in terms of the company partnerships, but I could be wrong. But I know there's a huge amount of discussion about ICP. Interesting. I don't know how that works, Trackman. I'd have to look into that. The BSC Anon token. I don't know how it would stop rug pulls, because how do we know that they're not a rug pull themselves, right? Yeah, I could see something like this being a long hold. Absolutely. But the fact that it's at this price, look, if you look at the tokenomics, 469. Now, I hate talking about tokenomics, because every time I do, it's always CoinGecko's wrong, and people like roast and just like, you got the tokenomics wrong. I just go off what I get here. So hopefully their APIs are up to date, but sometimes they aren't. But yeah, like it, yeah, I would definitely see it as a long-term hold. I probably like with DCA, right, not put a huge amount, just because how much value it got. Yeah, so peace out, Jay. Have a good weekend, man. Yeah, I can see that, right? And like you'll see that normally when you see projects like launch, they pump really hard when they launch, and then they just go on an extended bleed. But right now it looks like it's kind of like bottoming out a little bit. So it's probably a great time to enter. It could go lower, obviously, which would be nice, but it could obviously have a trend reversal and go the other way, especially when it looks like it's held enough support at around the $100 mark. So, did I register for the? No, I didn't. I didn't register at all for that. Can I still register for that? I don't even know what that is, to be honest. I think you mentioned that though. The parachain. Yeah. Okay, I clicked on this before. No, I did register. I think I did. Hold on, I'm gonna do this again just in case. Do I have to add my KSM now? I'll probably have to set that up. Notify me. I think I might have already set that up. I can't remember. Yeah, I am registered. Okay. So yeah, I am set up. The fad coin, it's coming, man. It's coming. Well, what if I did make a coin? What would happen? I would actually get back behind the project. So QnA is a part of the. So I'm assuming it's a loan platform for the actual parachain auction, but I don't know enough about it. So I think last time I looked at this, I registered. I registered again just in case I didn't, but I had this spot already, which I think is right, because last time I registered, I think it was at like 40,000, if I'm right. But I could be wrong. I could be completely bullshitting right now. But it's basically like a crowdfunding loan, right? Peer-to-peer lending. And this is probably going to be a big future for DeFi and decentralized exchanges. Not decentralized exchanges itself, but DeFi itself is like independent crowdfunding. So it's the same with like initial litigating offerings and everything else. But I'm probably going to have to deep dive into this to understand what the timelines are, because I want to learn more about this and see what I have to do with my KSM to be ready. Yeah. Creating safer place. Okay. Maybe it is. I don't know, buddy. Well, we are running up to an hour, so I'm gonna let anyone ask any questions. What coins will you keep at the end of the bull run? That's a hard question. And I don't think there's any coin in my portfolio that is exempt from taking profits. And the reason why I say that is, as much as I'm bullish on Cardano, if Cardano goes up to like $10, $15, like a ridiculous price, way out of my price target, I'm not holding on to all of my Cardano. Like, I'm going to have to sell. I have to sell. I can't see a pump like that and not sell that high. But what percentage I will sell is probably a different deal. I'll probably hold a lot more Cardano than other projects. I'll probably hold maybe not XRP, because traditionally it dumps pretty hard. Even though I'm really bullish on XRP, I'd probably sell a decent amount just so I could have that in stable coins and reinvest at a later period once it's dumped a little bit. Polkadot, probably the same deal as Cardano. I probably wouldn't sell nearly as much because I'd be able to provide a liquidity, earn a yield on it. So it wouldn't be that imperative for me to sell it, because I can still earn over the next couple of years for Polkadot. Same with KSM. Vechain, I'll definitely be taking some profits for Vechain, but I'm still going to hold a decent amount of my bags. So I think it really just depends on the token, I'd say, and the price. Yeah, you absolutely should take profits. One, you should take profits just to like make sure that you're in a better life situation, right? If you need to buy a house, whatever it is, but take profits to reinvest in crypto at a later time. There are going to be some projects that maybe you liquidate entirely. There are going to be some projects that I hold that I'm going to sell entirely and just get rid of. And then there are going to be projects that I hold a good amount of. Holding your tokens is always going to do better. But if you take profits during it, you're able to accumulate the downturns and make more money. So it's good to hold a good amount of your bags, but it's also good to sell a little bit and take a little bit of profits, right? Sell all of them. Sell all of them XRP. I know some people don't like XRP, man. I get it. I get it. There's a lot of FUD in the space, and it's hard for people to get over it. I believe though. I think I've done enough of my own research to understand what's going on in terms of like the validity pools and everything else, and how that's all handled, and how the escrow is handled. How the money goes right back into the escrow, how it's used to open up corridors, like it opened up the liquidity corridor between Mexico and the United States. So there is a good that's happening with XRP, but I understand the FUD. Yeah, see, I bought XRP. Here's the thing. People like give me FUD and everything else about XRP. I've been buying XRP since like 16, 18 cents, right? Like my XRP is earned on an APY about 20% less than what my Bitcoin earned. So really, like it's not all that bad, right? Like I've from the bottom, it's been a pretty good investment for me. So, when did I get into crypto? I got into crypto basically at the start of 2020. So I got into investing pretty heavily back in 2019. And once 2020 hit, I basically started looking at Bitcoin. So I got lucky. I was looking at Bitcoin back in January when I started hearing about COVID-19. And then when March happened, I was buying Bitcoin at 3K. That was glorious, my guy. But the biggest advice that I would say, especially for somebody new, if you don't have a position in some of the good cryptos, let's start building a small position. Dollar cost average right now, because right now we're in a bull market and it's just going to go up for a little bit. So you're not going to get as much gains for the bear market, but start learning about cryptocurrency, start learning about how the charts move, start learning about trends and everything else. That way you better prepare yourself to leverage yourself into a bear market and start accumulating through the bear market. Another big thing is when you do your own research and you hear a bunch of FUD, look into the FUD. Absolutely. Judge it and be very, very meticulous of your investments. But also, don't let the FUD shake you out of a good position. Never let the FUD shake you out of a good position. One of the biggest regrets that I ever have with my cryptocurrencies is selling crypto, right? That's always been my biggest regret, is selling certain tokens. And so I try to hold away from selling tokens as much as possible, unless it's to take profit. But there are tokens that I sold for bare bones just to get them out of my wallet because I wanted to put it into something else. And then that token shot up and I lost out on a good amount of gain. And I didn't even need the money that I sold, right? So I would just stick to your guns, invest in good projects, and take a little bit of risk. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of risk, especially if you're a young guy, like under basically under 50. Take a little bit of risk. Yeah. Don't be afraid to take a little bit of risk at some point. That's always, at this point, it's always been my motto. Never invest so much that you're not willing to lose, definitely, right? Everything that I have in crypto, of course, I'm willing to lose, but I know it's not going to happen. But at the same time, there are certain things that like I go into, like when I first got into Apeswap, I threw a lot of money into Apeswap. I threw maybe like 10 grand with a friend of mine. We both together came in and bridged into Apeswap. Now, the big reason why is because I trusted the Zora network. I trusted my research on the project, and I trusted where the money was going. But when I put something on like Pancakeswap, it was a lot less because I was a lot more concerned and apprehensive about going into it. So, yeah, the eventual heat death of the sun, my man. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, not taking out good profits, it sucks, but at the same time, you can't really predict that dip, right? That was driven basically by Elon Musk. That was hard to predict. Even I thought it was going to go up when it was at the 42,000, like holding down at this level. I thought we were going to bounce right back up and continue, and obviously we didn't. We broke through, and now we're just trading here. Sushi already has cross chains to AVAX, BSC, Matic, and some other blockchains, and they got all the attention. They're also building on Moonbeam. I'm super excited to get onto Moonbeam too. Sushi's done a lot of good things lately. I'm really impressed with some of the strides that Sushi did. I feel like something else happened with Sushi. I can't remember, like some other big update that I'm not thinking of. Yeah, I think overall, being in decentralized exchanges is the place to be right now. Yeah, I would agree with what you said, Sodium. Most of your crypto maybe shouldn't be in a safe place, depending on like maybe what age you are, maybe like you're close to retirement. Okay, maybe Bitcoin, but like still have like a good amount of like money in other projects because it could still go up. Yeah, I would say absolutely Bitcoin for me is 100% the best thing that you can do for your long-term future is just stacking sats and ignoring it. So the only Bitcoin, well, okay, that's a lie because I do buy Bitcoin on the blockchain. But the majority of the new Bitcoin that I buy goes right into a tax-free savings account for Canada. You can do the same thing if you're in the United States with an IRA. I would absolutely do that because that's tax-sheltered cryptocurrency, tax-sheltered Bitcoin. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. That's my retirement. You know what I mean? I'll leave that in the TFSA. I won't touch it for 20 years. Boom. So anything else from cryptocurrency is basically gravy at that point, which is going to far exceed what is in the TFSA. But it's good to earn crypto, and it's especially good when it's tax-sheltered. So. Yep. Things with the future beyond this market cycle. You do have to look at. I say this a lot, right? When you're investing here, when you're investing in blockchain and cryptocurrencies, don't look at it as you're investing for 2021, you're investing for 2022. You're investing for 2030, 2040. That's what you're investing in. All the people that bought Amazon, right, when Amazon came out, when it was a rinky-dink company, the biggest regret that they have is that they sold Amazon at like $230. They sold Amazon at $500. And here it is, right, above $3,000, I think. I can't remember exactly where it is. But that is the mindset that you have to get into. Now, does that mean every cryptocurrency is going to be Amazon? Absolutely not. Some cryptocurrencies are probably going to go to zero. You're going to have losses in this space, for sure. But at the same time, the gains that you're going to get from the space are going to drastically outweigh the losses as long as you're managing your risk properly in your portfolio and you're not over leveraged in one, right? So I have Ethereum. I have a good amount of Ethereum, but I also have a lot of Polkadot and a lot of Cardano because those are direct competitors to Ethereum. I'm hedging my bet. So it'd be the exact same thing. And it's the same thing with Bitcoin too. You should have a little bit of gold. There's no reason not to. Hedge your bet. Yeah, I would say absolutely. That's probably the best way to be is BTC, ADA, and DOT. Those are like the safest plays that you can be in. If you don't want to think about what you're investing in and you just want to DCA and you just want to set and forget and buy a couple of tokens, Bitcoin, ADA, and DOT. Maybe sprinkle in a little Ethereum, but that would probably be the safest play that you can make. That's gonna be it from me. Go ahead and like the video if you like the live stream. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone's enjoying their Saturday here. We'll let any last minute questions come through before we end it off. But I really appreciate the support. We've been streaming for roughly an hour and 15 minutes. There will be many competitors. Yeah, there's going to be, and you're going to hear a lot of FUD about competitors, right? There's a lot of room in the space. Now, we got to think about monopolies too. We don't want to see a world where we have monopolies. Why should Vechain be the only supply chain blockchain out there? Theoretically, there should be more, right? So, competition is good in a capitalistic society, in a capitalistic world. Is capitalism good? That's a different topic for a different day. But at the end of the day, competition between cryptocurrencies is good. Just don't let that FUD shake you out of positions and hedge your bets. People investing in Doge. So Doge is going to go up. I've talked about that before. But is Doge going to give you the best ROI in the world? No. And that's why the same thing goes with like Litecoin. Is Litecoin going to give you the best ROI in the world? I'd probably say if you're in Litecoin, go Dash. You'd love Dash way more than Litecoin anyway. So it is for me. All right, everyone. That's it for me. Hopefully everyone enjoys their Saturday and take it easy. Later on today, I'll be throwing out the Elon Musk and Anonymous video and talk about my full thoughts on all of that later on today. All right, take it easy, everyone.